Hey guys, welcome back to another video. The topic today is going to be about when a narcissist is looking for a fight. Most of the time, they're going to be doing that anyways, right? It's about that provocation, them trying to get you to respond, trying to get you to react. And this is even going to be more critical at this stage of the game, just because in a lot of ways they're going to have less opportunities to get supply from other people and other sources during these crazy times. Add into it your own stress and anxiety that's probably building, dealing with this situation, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're unemployed, obviously that's a stressor. But even if everything is okay and you're getting paid and you're just stuck at home, that can start to wane on you after a short amount of time. Which means that your ability to positively react to things and keep things in perspective is going to be diminished. When you are under stress, all of this becomes a lot more complicated. Adding into that, what I was talking about a moment ago, is your ex is going through the same type of thing, more than likely, and the only suitable target for their attention is probably you. So you should, unfortunately, expect them lashing out, criticizing your parenting style or your lack thereof, and them trying to push your buttons. I've seen this with a few people I know that I've been discussing things with the email in, and it's exactly what's going on. Instead of being able to take a reasonable approach at anything, because they can't, their exes are poking them in the eye and trying to create problem, creating extra stress. And it's really important that all the skills that you've learned over the course of your journey in recovering from narcissistic abuse is, you double down on it now. You really focus on what you've learned. It's really important because now more than ever, you are going to be probably pushed to your limit. So keep that in mind. Whenever you are dealing with somebody and they're just itching for a fight, every email they send, every text they send is reiterating how much of a piece of garbage you are and why you're doing things wrong and why you're unilaterally doing everything that they have always done in the past, more than likely. You got to keep that in mind. Take a deep breath and be very thoughtful and methodical about how you respond. It's amazing to watch how people how these whole things just keep continuing. How even in these extraordinary times, a lot of times narcissistic people will continue just to create drama and chaos. Now, full disclosure, my situation has been relatively mild for whatever reason. The kids, the youngest and the oldest, are still with me, and we're doing okay. You can see I'm in a tent. So my daughter and I made a video yesterday of putting this tent together, and we slept in it last night because she wanted to do that. So that was cool. So we're making the most of it. But I have to admit, even in my situation, this whole lockdown quarantine thing is really weird. And it's a little disconcerting when you're like, trying to figure out where you can go or where you can't go, which is a lot of most places. And even some of the things that I would have done to calm down are off the table. That's not really what I was talking about. I kind of veered off on this. But what I mean is that when I was talking about full disclosure in my situation, the ex has backed off and is not made an issue, isn't trying to guilt the kids into seeing them. To be honest, in a lot of ways, she's ignoring them, which is typical, but I'm not dealing with some of the other issues that other people are dealing with, where the other parent is trying to make the child feel guilty, trying to make the child feel like they have to choose, or feel like they're being, they're being disloyal, are not loving of the other parent because they don't, you know, they're not pushing to be with them, or they're not doing those type of things. And unfortunately, that is very typical. I'm glad that I'm not dealing with that, but that type of stuff I've dealt with in the past, and it's very common. Just you got to keep it in perspective. And if you're on the other side of it to where you're not seeing your kids, I wouldn't even encourage you. I mean, try to get with your kids via FaceTime, Zoom, you know, whatever the different options are. And if that's not allowed, don't get caught up in the trap of fighting and begging with the ex to allow some type of contact. Now the problem is that your emotions get so raw that you're not able to do it in a calm manner. What I mean is that if you could send an email saying, you know, dear ex, you know, would you please make, you know, child available for a Zoom call or a FaceTime call, and leave it that way. The problem is most of the time people, they add more into it. You know, they go in and go, you know, a good mother or a good father would allow their child to do this and would facilitate a relationship, and this whole laundry list of things. Keep it simple, keep it focused to the point if you're going to do it. Be prepared for them just to try to poke you in the eye and try to rip your heart out, because that's what they like to do. You know, they'll come back and come up with some other retort on why what they're doing is right and what you're doing is wrong, and how, you know, you're stressing the kids out. Just, you know, document all of it. Unfortunately, more than likely throughout all this, when it finally goes back to normal, my guess is that most courts are going to give people a pass on all of this, just because if it's an extraordinary time, and, you know, all the other person is going to have to say is, you know, well, I was scared for the welfare of the kids and minimizing exposure and you know, whatever. More than likely it'll be like, well, the other parent wouldn't say what they were doing to keep themselves safe, so I just couldn't risk it. And, you know, courts might say, well, you shouldn't have done that, but don't do that in the future type thing. I mean, I wouldn't expect any great bombshells or, you know, super victories on any of that. I hope you're doing okay through all this. If you could, you know, just give me in the comments below, just say, I'm doing good. You know, kind of like a level, you know, I'm doing great, I'm doing good, I'm doing okay, like neutral, I'm not doing good, and it's really bad. I just kind of like have a gauge on how people are doing on this, just to kind of do a poll of how people are, because I know these are some pretty trying times, and you add in all the extra stress of all this stuff, you know, it's just crazy. So I'm doing pretty good. I mean, so if you guys are worried about me, I'm doing okay. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm still able to work out of my house, which is awesome. Busy, you know, doing a lot of stuff, which is kind of weird doing it from here, but you know, okay, it's okay. Even with the kids getting tired of being stuck in the house and wanting to go do something, the morale is pretty good. All things considered, we're trying to make the most of it. So, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say great. I'd say things are good. They're not, you know, so it's not the 5, it's not meh, it's just a little bit above that. I hope that's where everyone is. Just, you know, take it slow. Know that this can't go on forever, this whole lockdown thing. So at some point this is going to work itself out, and then we can get back to a new normal. So on that, chat with you later. Take care.